Hello, everybody. It's Meriem Bouamrane again from the MAB Secretariat in Paris. And today I'm going to speak to you about how we can really contribute to what is going on in the planet with all this COVID-19 pandemic crisis and all the consequences that there is in our lives and in the biosphere reserves and in UNESCO. We are really in a time of transformation, deep transformation, and it's challenging. It might be also scary, but it's also a source of opportunities. And this is what we wanted to share with you today, how you can contribute to that transformation and how you can keep and inspire hope to the whole world and your communities. So I'm recording this end of November in headquarters in Paris in UNESCO, and many things happened this year for all of us. But what is really important is that our purpose and our values are really absolutely still valid and essential to what is going on in the planet. It's a time of change, and it's a time where we need to reflect about how we live in this planet and our relationship with biodiversity and nature, what we call nature. It's really important to understand that the MAB program that is going to celebrate 50 years anniversary in next year, in 2021, has key experience and lessons and tools to share to the whole world. We are rich of 50 years of experience in the Biosphere Reserves since 1976. And as a network also, we have learned from each other. And we have used each other's experience, solutions, practices, experiences to grow and to thrive. So how can we help in this world that is really in a very dire moment? How can we help? How can you help to make sure that this transformation is seen as an opportunity, as something that we can together face and help each other as a world network, and also to inspire again beyond our boundaries, which is the mission of the Lima Action Plan. This is a reflection we have in UNESCO, and we built a UNESCO biodiversity strategy to make sure that all the experience of the MAP program and the Biosphere Reserves, but also of the other designated sites like the World Heritage and the Geopark, are used to help and to share solutions and good practices beyond our boundaries. So this is the reflection I'm sharing with you today, and this is touching the whole UNESCO. And so from the experience of your biosphere reserves, from the experience of the MAP program, we can really help to shape a different narrative and a different story. And a story that would see that it's possible to reconcile people with nature, because we can live in harmony and we can demonstrate that. What I wanted to share with you was also that when we did that reflection about how we can, in this time of transformation, contribute, we looked at, there were lots of space here available for this area of people caring for nature, people having a relationship with nature that is not about destruction, but about, respect and about thriving, respecting the cycles, the rhythms of nature, and still developing and living and having a life like we know in the biosphere reserves that is connected to nature, but not destroying it. The other thing that we wanted to discuss is what will be the role of UNESCO. So what would be the role of the MAP program and the Biosphere Reserves? And this is where we can play a key role in the evidence. We have sites all around the world. I think today it's more than 700. The data has changed recently because there were new designations, including Asterousia in Greece. Welcome again. But that we use these territories and all the humans that are living in this biosphere reserve to show that it's possible to live in harmony with nature and to share those stories that you will see in the communication plan with the rest of the world. And so to communicate better, about the fact that the transformation is already happening. It's something that we have started and we have initiated in the MAB program since 50 years. And that's a very powerful story to tell outside, how the MAB program has been leader, pioneer, and has evidence about how we can live in harmony with nature in every different ecosystems in the planet. So that's what is important. And I'm not going to share everything here, but what I wanted to share with you that is important is that maybe you reflect in these classes and in your training courses about in your own biosphere reserve, what is the problem that you can uniquely solve as regards the crisis that we are going through and as regards the biodiversity. You must have seen that the IBES, the Intergovernmental Platform on Ecosystem Services and Biodiversity, and UNESCO is one of the 4 UN partners in that important platform. They released the first intergovernmental report on biodiversity last year at UNESCO, but recently they also have released an expert reports on the roots of the pandemic, and it's linked to the way us humans are badly using the biodiversity. The activities, the human activities, are responsible for 75% of the destruction of terrestrial ecosystems. So the narrative of UNESCO is that if humans are destroying, they can also be custodians, they can also be guardians, they can also protect, and that should be the role of what we are doing in the Biosphere Reserves and in the MAB program. And so this is why we have positioned UNESCO in this unique role of what is the problem that UNESCO can help. UNESCO is the only UN specialized agency that has sites that are recognized at the UN level, the Biosphere Reserves, the World Heritage, the Geopark. And these are places where people are living and having a way of living that is respectful of nature. So how do we are positioning ourselves to be part of the solution and part of the transformation that has to take place now, because we cannot continue like this. We cannot continue to destroy nature, and we cannot continue to increase the pandemics because we are not tackling the roots causes of all this interaction we have with nature. And so this is why now the narrative that is building on the MAB experience and on the Biosphere Reserves is about our role is going to, whenever we can, restore the relationship between people and nature when these relationships have been cut or destroyed or completely disconnected, like in urban areas. And you know that in the MAP program, we do have biosphere reserves that are including cities and that are including sometimes capital cities, like in Dublin, for example, in Ireland. So we want to show that this connection between people and nature, we are part of nature, is everywhere. We don't have to live in very remote places to feel connected to nature. And this pandemic has also shown to many people like me living in Paris and stuck in Paris, how vital is for me and for my family and for many all human beings, the connection to nature. So we don't need a pandemic to remind us about how interdependent we are with the living world for our air, for our food, for our water, for our daily activity, and also for our just well-being. Just seeing nature is a source of inspiration and beauty. And so this is very important that whenever we can, and this is the commitment of UNESCO in the next years, that we restore this relationship, we share stories about how humans everywhere in the planet have unique and specific relationship with nature through cultures and through values. And also whenever we can, that we stop the destructions of the ecosystems and we restore whenever we can. And there is a program now that is funded by Italy that is going to help restoration in some of the sites of UNESCO designated sites, which is very important. Then the second role is whenever it works well, whenever there is a harmony between people and nature and there is good conservation stories, successes, we maintain that. We conserve this harmony between people and the ecosystems and biodiversity. And then the third pillar is about the next generations. Now, our objective is really for them, for our youth, for children, the next generations, that they are able to live in this planet, that they are able to breathe, to eat food, and good food if possible, and enjoy being with each other. All the core values of the MAB about celebrating life, about being together, about belonging to something bigger. We want to transmit those values to the next generations. So we want to make sure that they are part of the solution and actors of change now. And this is why the MAB has really a strength and a value with all the MAB youth that we have and all the regional youth coordinators that have been established. So these are the three pillars where UNESCO really wants to be part of this transformation that is needed now, and to be active and show how we can contribute to that. And so for the MAB program, it means that the new narrative that we are building together is really about how we are going to contribute individually, you in each of your biosphere reserves, but also as a world network, to be part of the change in an inspiring way and in a way that people want to join us and also feel that it's possible. It's very important because at the end of this year, people are really tired and maybe they are exhausted. Maybe many of them have lost their jobs. It's very difficult economically and socially. It's very difficult not to be able to see each other and to be together like we were. And I really hope that one day, you know, this training, I would do it live and not through a screen. But that's also reminding us how important things that we were taking for granted are. And how can we learn from what has happened this year and that we don't let it happen again. This is really the challenge that we have to face collectively. And so I wanted to conclude on that. You also have that in your material. But I really wanted to share with you, this is our reflection, why it's a time of transformation, why it's important that you engage, that the Biosphere Reserve engage, that the MAB program engage. How can we help? How can we demonstrate that it's possible through those three actions that I've told you about, restoring not only the ecosystems, but also our connection, our relationship with the environment, conserving what needs to be conserved and transmitted, and empower the youth so they have a role, they have a place, and they are part of this transformation now, today, not waiting for them to be in the power place. And this is what we also would like you to reflect on, is many of you have been participating to the webinars that we have put online during this 2020 year that looks like not any other year. And there were very interesting conversation happening and questions asked about, you know, what is our role and what can we do? And there were very nice stories also about how during this COVID-19, you could see some core values of solidarity, of innovation, of supporting each other that came out. So I really also invite you to reflect on what this COVID-19 crisis and pandemic has learned, has taught you, what was the change and what has happened in your biosphere reserve, and how can you help to be part of the solution today. Thank you very much.